Hello, my audience. My name is Paul, and we are joined here by a very special guest, too, if you count my wonderful camera woman, Danielle. This is Matt, and
Hello.
It's been a very long time since he's been on my channel, but he has a very special place on my channel's history because you composed Paul's epic theme, which first showed up in this clip on my Best Games of 2023 video.
And the delay was absolutely worth it. Now, is this $70 DLC? Not to me. I know some people might have wished that this might have pushed Zelda even further, like truly evolved off of Breath of the Wild. And while to a certain extent I can kind of agree with them, I feel like I'm okay with waiting until the next Zelda game so that they have even more time to refine the formula. Whereas for now, I'm content with traveling through this Hyrule again.
So I was hoping that we could get a little bit of a behind the scenes of how the creation process works. So would you like to introduce yourself to the audience and what you like to do for fun and for a living?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm Matt, and I'm a musician. I like to compose, and I like to play piano. I'm a music teacher, and I also play at a church. I play piano.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that someone on my channel knows music theory, because I certainly don't.
I don't either. I don't know.
How do you not know music theory and yet you're a composer?
Oh, I just wing it.
So what was the inspiration for proposing the idea that you were going to compose a theme for my channel? Because if I recall, it was around the time that we did the Best Games of 2022 video.
Yeah.
And you were really impressed by that.
Oh,
You
yeah.
said something like, I want to compose music. Like, what was the inspiration there?
Yeah, well, one, you always create really quality content.
Oh, thank you.
First off, I love your channel. I watch like every episode, so I just wanted to compose something for it, and especially like your end of the year videos. I think that those were always really interesting. So I'm honored to be to play a small part of it.
Yeah.
A small role of it. So yeah, as far as for composing a theme though. Most of my ideas, I start off with just like a simple little theme, and then I just build it from there. So I don't think that composing, like, you don't have to have like the most complicated thing, but something that's kind of memorable. So you know, with video games, I always like playing video games when I was younger, so I kind of thought of actually childhood. I made something kind of childlike actually for the original, just simple theme, and then I just tried to let it grow from there.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
You know, some people have actually wondered if you used a real orchestra to perform that song,
Nope.
which I know that would have been very costly.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how did you get it to sound so close to an orchestra without actually having one?
I use programs on Logic, and then I have some additional programs that I run through Logic called East-West Composer Cloud, and it just sounds like more realistic instruments. So that's what I use. So, for instance, if I needed to have a violin sound, there's about 50 different violin sounds that I can make, on the program. So I'll just pick the one that I want and just choose all of my instruments. So it's all on a little keyboard.
That sounds so insanely complicated for a theme that's only a little bit over 3 minutes. That is very impressive indeed.
Yeah, so it's fun just to start off with. Usually I'll write the theme on just like a piano, and then from there I'll try to just add additional instruments. And I usually just start off simple, and then I just kind of go from there. So there's never really like a rhyme or a reason. I always start off not knowing at all how it's going to turn out.
Well, if I recall correctly from one of our previous conversations, you had mentioned that you were kind of composing the music as you were watching the video.
Yeah.
But then you sort of composed part of it beforehand. So you want to take the audience through the timeline of your composition process?
Oh man, I'm trying to think of like the details of it. I usually, I think that I just wrote like this little melody. And then from there, there's something called an ostinato.
Wow, very fancy.
Fancy. And it's kind of like this repeated musical pattern. And I think of it as kind of like the pulse of music. It's kind of like the heartbeat. And it just kind of drives the piece. But I always start off with just creating just a simple theme, and that's kind of like the heart of the piece. And then you can hear different variations of it, whether it starts slow and then it eventually gets faster. There's a lot of different variations you can do. So, yeah.
Very fascinating trivia, but that wasn't quite the question.
Oh, what was the question?
The question was, what was the approximate timeline of the composition? Like, I believe you had said that you had composed part of it before you watched my video.
Oh.
Then I sent you it after I finished the preliminary edit, and then you watched Tears of the Kingdom was my #1 game that year, so you watched the Tears of the Kingdom segment, and you were a bit shocked because I had roughly 15 minutes of footage, and you were like, yeah, I don't know if I can compose a song that long. So what was the process behind shortening it and making sure that it fit with the on-screen action?
Yeah, I think that I didn't really have much of it composed beforehand. I would say that I had just like the very basic theme, like bum 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 da 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 da, and that was it. That was literally it. And then I kind of watched your video, and I liked a lot of what I remember you were saying in the video. I think that was your #1.
It was,
right? Yeah. So I knew that was really important to you. So I don't know. I just wanted to make it something special for your #1. You know, it wasn't for #5 after all.
So I don't think you expected that song to hit off, or is it hit off or kick off? You guys tell me in the comments. I don't think you expected me to like it as much as I did, because I'm pretty sure when I asked you to compose it, I was thinking that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
But then shortly after that, I made it my theme song for the entire channel. So those of you who have watched my videos from 2024 and beyond will know that I usually have Paul's Epic theme playing near the end of all of my videos. And I don't think you were expecting me to do that. So what's how do you feel about, for one, me giving it a name, which I don't think you did give it a name.
What is the name?
It's called Paul's Epic Theme.
What's the one for, like, the channel? Like, that's in the beginning of each one?
You tell me, because you made that music.
I don't think I titled it. But the one for, like, your main theme, and then there's the one for, like, the #1 game.
The one that you composed for the #1 game, that is called Paul's Epic Theme.
Gotcha.
And I have that, like, near the end of all of my videos.
Yeah, okay.
So how did that feel when I told you, like, hey, I'm using it as, like, the official theme of the channel?
I was honored, you know. I thought it was just, like, going to be a one-time thing, but I'm glad that it came back.
Yeah, it's been great. I don't get too many people that comment on it, but the few people that do, they've all, like, really liked it.
Aww.
And again, the worst I've gotten was, it's just okay, so.
Hey, okay is just okay. It's like from Monsters University.
Well,
have you seen that one?
Yes, I have, but it's been, like, so many years.
Yeah.
That I don't.
Uzma Kappa. We're okay.
So I would like to say that I love how there were, like, little elements of Professor Layton in the music. I don't know if that was intentional, but I remember when Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright came out, I loved that game soundtrack, and it had a lot of the bells in there. Were you actively thinking about that, or just?
I don't think so, but probably that makes sense though, because I listen to a lot of the same music that you do. You know, so probably I was inspired from it, not even knowing it.
Well, I sent you a couple of music pieces so that you could get a reference for what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah.
Like, I believe I sent you some of the credits music for the Super Mario Galaxy games, and I think also Skyward Sword.
Yeah. Keep in mind, when I wrote this, how long ago was this? Was this last year?
This was in 2023.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, it's sometimes hard to remember the details a little bit, but it's all coming back to me now.
Oh, that's cool. And do you have any advice for aspiring composers that don't realize how much their pieces are going to hit off, and like you didn't know how popular Paul's Epic theme would be, or even that I'd give it a name. So to other composers that might aspire to be in your position, what advice do you have for them to get to where you are now?
Wow, that's a really good question. What would I suggest? I would say just try to find your own style. You know, it's kind of like There's no right or wrong way to compose. And I would say it's kind of like a journal entry or a diary entry. Like, nobody can tell you, like, oh no, what you're writing about your thoughts and whatever is wrong. Like, no, this is your style, this is your own way of writing. So I would just say, try to find your own style, and if you like the music that you make, and if you don't like it, then keep on working on it until you do like it.
I mean, honestly, it does feel like very much like the kind of thing you would compose, because I
did write it.
Well, it fits your bubbly personality quite well. Like, especially with all the bells, it has kind of a light feel to it.
Yeah.
But then when the trumpets come in, it has more of an intense feel, kind of like what I would be looking for.
Yeah. Well, it did kind of start off. I think that if I remember when I was writing it, it started off very simple and childlike. And then as the piece goes on, it almost feels like it's growing up, So, I don't know, it does kind of mature a little bit throughout the piece, I would say. So it starts off a little bit more simple, lots of little twinkly bells and pretty simple. But then by the end, then it's a little bit more fully realized. So, and just a lot of composers will do that, especially like in film score music. So for instance, like, John Williams, I'm thinking of like Ray's theme. When it's first introduced, it does kind of come back in other scenes and in other movies, and then it does start to kind of mature the theme a little bit more as Ray kind of goes on her journey. So, I like to kind of start it off a little bit simple so that way it does have room to grow. You don't want to start off at a 15, you want to start at, a little bit less than that, and then it could just naturally kind of grow.
Well, I do feel like it's the ending in particular, where it has that extended note from, I think it's like the pseudo violin that you used. It works so perfectly for my outro, because at the end of all my videos, I always say, keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. And by the time I say bye, that's when I cut off the piece, and it feels like it's just absolutely perfect for what I've been doing for years. It's almost as if it was always there. And now it's hard to go back to my videos before that video, because it's like, Paul's epic theme just adds so much.
Well, there is no epic music without epic Paul.
For sure, yeah. So do you have any closing thoughts you want to say to the audience before we wrap this up?
Oh, well, I'm honored to be, interviewed today for this, and it was a really fun experience, so I appreciate you asking me. And if you are interested in composing or writing your own music, just start off with something simple, something that you can kind of whistle to yourself or you can hum along to. It doesn't have to be complicated, just something simple, and then just keep on building it.
And I'd like to add to that, because I've composed a few songs myself. My very first song that I wrote for the guitar only had 3 chords the whole time. And yet, people loved it so much that they started playing it at praise and worship at one of the church groups I went to. So, you might think that it's simple, but other people generally tend to have better impressions of your own work than you do. So just don't be too hard on yourselves.
Yeah, and simplicity is good too. Like those are some of like the best themes that I know of, is just something that's kind of simple. It's something to make it memorable. Mm-hmm. So simplicity is not bad. It's simplistic and wise. Simplistic wisdom. Simplism.
I always learn something new with this. So thank you very much for watching, my friends. I hope you will check out the 2 music videos I've made for Paul's epic theme, and just try to keep your ears peeled in my 2024 and beyond videos. If you want to see more of Matt's wife, Danielle, who's handling our camera, I do have a friendversary video that we did, so hopefully you can check that out as well. And do you want to give like a closing catchphrase to the audience? Because I usually have mine.
Treat everybody like it's their birthday.
Very nice. And I will say thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day. And until the next time, remember to keep the faith, stay epic, and God bless. Bye.
Bye.